Welcome to part 49 of the Ultimate Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg, where we explore true crime, urban legends, mysterious disappearances, myths and legends, internet mysteries, and more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. The English Sweating Sickness. The sweating sickness, also known as the English sweat, was a mysterious and deadly condition that struck England and later parts of Europe during the late 15th and early mid-16th centuries. It first appeared in 1485 and recurred in several outbreaks until it vanished in 1551. The first outbreak coincided with the end of the Wars of the Roses and the rise of Henry VII to the English throne. The disease caused widespread panic as it quickly claimed thousands of lives, including notable figures such as two Lord Mayors of London and several members of the English nobility. Henry VIII was deeply fearful of the disease, and it influenced his policies and movements throughout his reign. His elder brother Arthur, Prince of Wales, is suspected to have died from the illness in 1502, which dramatically altered the line of succession and English history. Also, as a quick aside, the Tudors, being of Welsh origin, chose the name Arthur as the heir apparent to the English throne. This is thought to have been an attempt to enhance and legitimize the Tudor claim to the English throne and to the entirety of Britain. Also, it raises the question as to what regnal number would have been used for a 16th century King Arthur. Would he have been King Arthur I or King Arthur II? Thanks to English sweating sickness, we will never know. But I digress. Let's get back to the mystery. The disease was marked by sudden and severe symptoms, starting with a sense of dread, followed by cold shivers, intense sweating, headache, severe body pains, and exhaustion. The initial trembling and high fever were followed by profuse sweating and a rapid decline into extreme fatigue and thirst. Unlike the bubonic plague, the sweating sickness did not cause visible sores or rashes, which added to its mysterious nature. Treatments of the time, based on the humoral theory of medicine, involved wrapping patients in heavy blankets to induce sweating and avoiding certain foods and mists thought to be harmful. If a patient survived the first 24 hours, they had a good chance of recovery, but many succumbed within that critical period. Despite its terrifying grip on Tudor England, the sweating sickness remains less well known than other historical epidemics like the Black Death. Its sudden disappearance after 1551 only adds to the mystery. The disease's unknown origin and vanishing act left a legacy of fear and speculation, influencing literature and popular culture long after it had gone. For instance, Shakespeare's play Henry IV Part II mentions a character dying of a sweat, potentially reflecting the lingering memory of the disease in the public consciousness. Over the centuries, numerous theories have been proposed regarding the cause of the sweating sickness. Some historians and scientists speculate that it could have been a form of hantavirus, which also presents with rapid onset fever and respiratory distress. These viruses are primarily found in rodents, and humans can contract the disease through direct contact with a variety of rodent-related sources, including their droppings. Others have proposed that the outbreaks could have been caused by anthrax poisoning. In favor of this theory, it is speculated that spores from this bacterium might have contaminated raw wool or animal carcasses, infecting people who came into contact with these materials. Another theory points towards another class of viruses known as enteroviruses. Enteroviruses are a group of viruses that typically enter the body through the gastrointestinal tract and can cause a range of diseases. They are known for their ability to cause sudden epidemics with high fever and systemic symptoms, aligning with historical accounts of the sweating sickness. Some researchers suggest that an unknown or extinct strain of enterovirus might have been responsible for the outbreaks, given the rapid onset and resolution of the disease. The Bogle-Chandler Case. On January 1st, 1963, the bodies of Dr. Gilbert Bogle, a prominent physicist, and Mrs. Margaret Chandler were discovered on the banks of the Lane Cove River in Sydney, Australia. The discovery was made by two young boys searching for golf balls. They stumbled upon the bodies, partially clothed and covered with items found nearby. The scene suggested a sudden, unexpected event, as both Bogle and Chandler appeared to have been in the midst of a quote-unquote close encounter. Initial forensic examinations were delayed due to the New Year's Day holiday, which hindered the early collection of critical evidence. The case attracted massive media attention, partly due to the sensational nature of the deaths and the prominent social standing of the individuals involved. Further, both Bogle and Chandler were married to other people, adding a layer of scandal. Additionally, Dr. Bogle's work at the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization and the Cold War context fueled numerous speculative theories. These theories generally focused on espionage or a potentially deadly scientific rivalry. Initial theories centered around poisoning, with speculation about exotic toxins such as those from cone shells or funnel web spiders. Later investigations even considered LSD, but tests for such substances returned negative results. In 2006, filmmaker Peter Butt proposed a new theory in his documentary. He suggested that the couple may have succumbed to hydrogen sulfide poisoning. Historical records indicated that the Lane Cove River had been contaminated by industrial waste, leading to occasional releases of toxic gas. This theory was supported by evidence of similar incidents in the area and provided a plausible explanation for the sudden and mysterious circumstances. However, while compelling, this theory has not been universally accepted. It was also posited that a third person may have discovered the bodies and covered them for modesty's sake. This individual has never been identified, but the presence of someone else at the scene adds another layer of intrigue and the potential for this person's involvement. Despite extensive investigations and numerous inquests, the case remains unsolved. The slaying of Betsy Aardsma. On November 28, 1969, Betsy Aardsma, a 22-year-old graduate student, was attacked in the stacks of Pattee Library at Penn State University. Betsy was a diligent student, having returned from a Thanksgiving visit to her boyfriend's home to focus on her studies. Around 4:45 p.m., she was browsing books when a sudden disturbance occurred. Witnesses heard books falling and saw a man leaving the area, making an ambiguous statement to the desk clerk. "Somebody better help that girl." Unaware of the gravity, the clerk remained at her post while other students attempted to revive Betsy, thinking she had fainted. The initial responders, including student paramedics, also assumed a medical episode due to the minimal visible blood. Betsy was taken to the Ritenour Health Center, where a physician discovered a fatal stab wound. The single thrust had penetrated her heart, causing rapid internal bleeding. Despite efforts to save her, Betsy expired very soon after. Investigations faced significant setbacks, perhaps the most significant being that the crime scene had been inadvertently cleaned by a janitor, erasing potential evidence. Notably, when the janitor cleaned the scene, the incident was still thought to have been a medical emergency only, rather than a criminal event. Police interviewed numerous witnesses and sketched a potential suspect based on descriptions, but no arrests were made. The elusive nature of the attacker led to widespread frustration and speculation. A prominent theory centers around Richard Hafner, a geology student at Penn State who had briefly attempted to date Betsy. Some believe that his rejection by Betsy could have driven him to commit the crime. Reports indicate that Hafner displayed unusual behavior following the incident. However, personally, I think anyone who knows the victim of a slaying may display unusual behavior after. Despite these suspicions, due to lack of evidence, he was never charged, and he maintained his innocence until his death in 2002. Also, I note that Hafner had, what I can only describe in YouTube-friendly terms, as extremely unsavory accusations against him. That said, he was found not guilty of these crimes, though I do note the extreme difficulty of proving such crimes occurred beyond a reasonable doubt. Two other suspects attracted significant attention, but were ultimately again not charged in relation with the crime. William Spencer was a 40-year-old sculptor who moved to the area shortly before Aardsma's slaying. Spencer became a suspect in Aardsma's end after allegedly confessing at a Christmas 1969 faculty gathering that he had, quote, ended that girl in the library. Except he didn't say, quote, ended. He may have used spicier language. Investigators questioned him in early 1970. Spencer claimed he knew Aardsma, who had allegedly agreed to pose in her birthday suit for his sculpting classes to earn extra money. I place a heavy emphasis on the allegedly here. He said he was in the stacks at the time of her slaying and saw the offender, who was wearing an overcoat. He offered to sculpt a bust of the suspect for the investigators, which he later did. However, the police dismissed his claims because he had only recently moved to Pennsylvania, leaving little time for him to have known Aardsma. Additionally, there was no evidence supporting his claim that Aardsma posed, and she was known to be extremely modest. Further raising eyebrows, a review of records indicated the models in his classes came from Philadelphia, not the local area. In my view, it looks as though William Spencer was someone who wanted to insert himself in a major happening, as often happens in high-profile crime cases. In the alternative, he may have genuinely believed that he knew her, but the evidence indicated that he did not. Further, his Christmas party, quote-unquote, confession, could have been an extremely distasteful joke made under the influence of alcohol. Another suspect was Larry Maurer, a classmate of Aardsma, also caught investigators' attention. Maurer had become acquainted with Aardsma shortly before her untimely demise, even taking her for coffee once. There was no known animosity between them, and Maurer was cleared as a suspect, though it is unclear if he passed a polygraph test. Some reports indicate that he failed a polygraph test. However, this can simply be caused by extreme nervousness. His physical appearance, blonde, average height, and not wearing glasses, differed significantly from the suspect seen by 3 eyewitnesses running from the stacks. Further, one of those witnesses was a classmate of Maurer. The official police stance appears to be that another student likely ended her, and that the actual suspect was likely never on the radar at all. Further, I note that other much less credible theories have pointed to infamous figures like Ted Bundy, although these lack any evidence whatsoever. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Jimmy. Let me take a brief moment to promote my channel. If you're enjoying my content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and the notification bell. Also, if you really want to take it to the next level, please consider signing up for a YouTube membership or a Patreon membership. You can support for as little as 99 cents a month. Benefits include access to exclusive videos from my early days as a YouTuber, shout-outs at certain tiers, and the satisfaction of helping keeping this channel running. Also, remember to join the Discord as well. We've got just over 100 members at this point. Floating cities in the sky. In recent years, reports of, quote, floating cities appearing in the skies over various parts of China have sparked widespread curiosity and speculation. These phenomena have been witnessed in places like Foshan, Jiangxi, and Haikou. The sightings of floating cities are primarily attributed to a phenomenon known as a fata morgana, a type of mirage. This optical illusion occurs when layers of air at different temperatures create a refractive effect, bending light rays and producing a displaced image of distant objects. Typically, a fata morgana results in an elevated and distorted image of a city's skyline or landscape, making it appear as though the structures are floating above the ground or sea. One notable instance of this phenomenon was recorded in October 2015, when residents of Foshan in Guangdong province observed what seemed to be a city skyline hovering in the sky. This event was followed by another sighting in Jiangxi, where a similar apparition startled locals. Such events have led to various interpretations, ranging from scientific explanations to more speculative theories involving parallel universes or even holographic projections. Among the more outlandish theories is the idea of Project Bluebeam. This is a conspiracy theory suggesting that advanced holographic technology is being tested to simulate otherworldly events, such as alien invasions or divine appearances. Proponents of this theory believe that these tests are conducted to gauge public reaction and potentially manipulate large-scale perceptions. Despite these hypotheses, the scientific community largely supports the Fata Morgana explanation. This optical phenomenon has been documented in other parts of the world and is known to require very specific atmospheric conditions to occur. The rarity of these conditions contributes to the infrequency and mysterious nature of the sightings, further fueling speculative and supernatural interpretations. Moreover, these floating city phenomena are not confined to China. Similar occurrences have been reported globally, though less frequently. In 2011, villagers in Dulali, Nigeria, claimed to have seen a floating city in the sky, though it lacked photographic evidence and thus received limited attention. The Kikiyaon. The Kikiyaon is a cryptid from the folklore of the Gambia in West Africa. Described as a fearsome, nocturnal being, the creature is said to resemble a giant owl with red eyes and sharp talons. The history of this cryptid is deeply rooted in the oral traditions of the Gambian people. Stories of the creature have been passed down through generations, often serving as cautionary tales to keep children from wandering alone at night. Facts about the cryptid are scarce and often intertwined with myth. Descriptions of the creature vary, but common characteristics include its large size, owl-like appearance, and eerie, human-like scream. Some accounts suggest that the cryptid has the ability to shapeshift into a human form when required. There are also reports of the creature having supernatural powers, such as the ability to vanish into thin air or paralyze its victims with a glance. Some theories suggest that the creature is a remnant of ancestors, representing the spirits of the dead. Others propose that the creature is a nature spirit. Others believe that the cryptid could be a misunderstood or exaggerated version of a real animal, such as a large owl or an eagle. The Gambian eagle owl, for instance, shares some physical traits with the Kikiyaon, including its size and nocturnal habits. Stories of the creature often depict it as a harbinger of misfortune, or, in the alternative, as a guardian of the forest. In some tales, it is said to prey on those who trespass into its territory or disrespect the natural world. In other accounts, the cryptid is portrayed as a protector, warding off evil spirits and safeguarding the human settlements from harm. So, yeah, if you've been following my channel for a long time, you may have guessed what I'm going to say about this cryptid. It's a classic case of owl misidentification. The Maine Penny. The Maine Penny, also known as the Goddard coin, is one of the most intriguing artifacts found in North America, raising questions about Norse exploration of the continent long before Columbus. Discovered in 1957 by amateur archaeologist Guy Melgren at the Goddard site in Brooklyn, Maine, this silver coin dates back to the reign of a king of Norway in the late 11th century. Initially, Melgren thought he had found a 12th century English coin, and this theory was accepted for the first 20 years after the discovery. It wasn't until 1978 that experts identified it as a Norwegian coin from the 11th century. The Goddard site, where the coin was found, was a Native American settlement dated between 1180 and 1235 AD, well within the period when Norse coins were in circulation. The coin's perforation suggested it might have been used as a pendant, adding to its mysterious nature. The coin's origin is traced back to the Norse presence in Greenland, where they settled around the 10th century and maintained a presence until the 15th century. The Norse are known to have reached Newfoundland around 1000 AD, evidenced by the settlement at Vinland. However, the presence of a Norse coin so far south in Maine has led to several theories. One possibility is that Norse explorers traveled further south than previously documented. This theory suggests the Norse may have explored or traded along the North American coast, reaching as far as Maine. Another theory posits that the coin was traded through extensive Native American trade networks. Some theorize it could have changed hands many times, traveling from Viking settlements in Newfoundland through various tribes until it reached the Goddard site. However, the Vinland colony is thought to have been lost by the time of the reign of the king depicted on the coin. Skeptics argue that the coin might be a hoax. Given that similar coins were available in the 1950s, Mellgren or someone else could have theoretically planted it. However, Mellgren never sought fame or financial gain from the discovery, which complicates this theory. Notably, however, there is always the potential that someone else hid the coin there for Mellgren to find, with Mellgren playing an unwitting role in a greater ruse. In my view, what puts the final nail in the coffin of this theory is that Mellgren ended up donating the coin to the state of Maine. Today, the Maine Penny is housed at the Maine State Museum. The authenticity of the Maine Penny is widely accepted among numismatists, with experts from the University of Oslo confirming its Norwegian origin. And who better to identify a Norwegian coin than professors from a Norwegian university? Yet, its journey to Maine remains a mystery. The lack of additional Norse artifacts at the Goddard site further complicates the narrative, leaving room for speculation. Winged cats. The phenomenon of winged cats is one of the more peculiar and fascinating subjects in cryptozoology, as there is definitely a strong kernel of truth to these curious kitties. Reports of cats with wings have been recorded for millennia across a wide variety of cultures. These so-called winged cats are often attributed to various causes, ranging from matted fur to genetic anomalies. But the stories and sightings continue to intrigue. One early report of a winged cat comes from Henry David Thoreau, who in 1842 documented a cat with wing-like appendages in Lincoln, Massachusetts. This cat, which Thoreau described in detail, had fur that flattened out and formed wing-like strips during winter, which later fell off in spring. Notably, this was said to have occurred every year with this cat. One of the most famous cases involved a cat named Thomas, found in 1959 in West Virginia. Thomas was examined by veterinarians who noted that the wings were made of gristle and covered in fur. Modern science offers explanations for the winged cat phenomenon. The most common explanation is the formation of large mats of fur, which can give the appearance of wings. This is particularly prevalent in long-haired cats, where molted hair can adhere to the new growth, creating wing-like structures. Another explanation is a condition known as feline cutaneous asthenia, a genetic disorder that causes the skin to be unusually elastic and prone to sagging. This can sometimes result in flaps of skin that look like wings, especially in low-light settings. Winged cats have found their way into folklore and urban legends, often being associated with witches and the devil. Make sure to check out the YouTube membership and Patreon. You can support my channel for as little as 99 cents a month. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. Shout out to my patrons Noah Schubert, Iced Mocha, Kurt the Squirt, Monoxide Wendigo, Jeffer Metcalf, Z-Volts, Director Delta, Unknown Delusions, Faye, Jack Russell, Boomslang, Spookiest Becky, and Blasphemous. Big shout out to YouTube member Jordan All. Until next time, stay safe and healthy. Peace out, everyone.